Welcome back, Steeler Nation. Thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for taking the time to spend a little time with me. I always appreciate it, and I welcome you to the latest episode of the Steelers Before Play. This week, Week 5 against, yes, the Baltimore Ravens. Rivalry time. Let's get right into it, guys. I'm going to give you some quick keys to victory, if you will, and it's funny, man, because with this Pittsburgh Steelers team, it's pretty much the same keys to victory each and every week, particularly because of the way the offense has not clicked, how they're not conducive, how they're not efficient, and how Matt Canada is getting on everyone's nerves, as well as Kenny Pickett with his indecisiveness, his decision-making at times, and the offensive line. So we got a lot left to be desired, man. But hey, let's get right into it. First of all, we're going to take a look at some things that might affect the game in terms of who's in, who's out. So let's do that really quick. As you can see here, guys, just looking at the report as far as practice report or what have you. We'll start with Friday and then we'll take a look at who's out. So you can clearly see right there, Presley Harvin did not practice. Kenny Pickett was a full. Najee Harris limited with a hamstring. Cole Holcomb full with a back injury. Alex Highsmith limited with groin. Dan Moore did not practice. Chukwuma Okorafor was full. James Daniels did not practice. Pat Fryermuth did not practice, as well as DeMarvin Leal did not practice. And, that one right there is going to be a little more significant than some of you guys may think. As we take a look at game time decisions or game status, let's scroll that down just a bit. Let me make sure you guys are seeing that. Yep, you should be seeing that. Presley Harvin is out once again, so it's going to be a wing again punting for us. Alex Highsmith is listed as questionable. Now, you would expect that Highsmith will play, but hey, keep an eye on that because you never know what happened today. You never know what happens before the game. So keep a close eye on that. Dan Moore is out once again, which means Broderick Jones will get the start. James Daniels is out, which means Nate Herbig gets the start again. Pat Fryermuth is out. So this is going to be interesting. I didn't check to see if there were any transactions. I will actually do that here in just a moment, as far as tight end. And then DeMarvin Leal is out with a concussion. That's not good, guys, because he was in the protocol, and the fact that he did not make it, you got to keep an eye on things like that. So let's take a look at the Baltimore Ravens, shall we? Their Friday practice report. Let me scroll this down a little bit. There you go. Looks like Friday, who popped up on their report? Cornerback Jalen Amore Davis was full. Rashad Bateman, full. Odell Beckham, limited. Justice Hill, full. Limited. Keaton Mitchell, full. Marlon Humphrey, limited. Morgan Moses did not practice. Odafe Owe did not practice. Ronnie Staley did not practice. Marcus Williams, full. And Darryl Worley did not practice as well. So if we take a look at the game time decision here, as you will see, Odell Beckham is questionable with an ankle. And I'm going to be honest, man. Odell doesn't scare me that much. He just doesn't. Not at this stage of his career. I mean, of course, you got to look out for him. He's still Odell, but he's not Odell, if you understand what I'm saying. So, and, he hasn't really gotten off to a great start with the Ravens because injury history. So that's why I say that Odell really doesn't bother me so much. I haven't seen much from him this season that make me be concerned, but you still got to watch him. He still has some skill. Justice Hill is questionable. Marlon Humphrey is questionable. Keaton Mitchell, questionable. Morgan Moses, doubtful. That's huge because that's a tackle on that offensive line. And Odafe Owe is out. And let me tell you, that is something that's a good sign for the Pittsburgh Steelers because that dude wreaks havoc a lot of times when he's in the game. I like Owe. Can play really well. Ronnie Staley is questionable with the knee. That's another tackle for the Baltimore Ravens. So they could have some issues up front. And then safety Darryl Worley is out. So, and I don't know if he's a starter or not. Some of you guys in the chat can tell me that. Leave a comment and let me know. I haven't checked their depth chart. But, that could affect them as well defensively. We shall see. So basically, guys, what I want to get into, and actually while I have the screen up, Let's take a look at transactions here from the Steelers. Let's see. Yes, they did. Okay. They promoted tight end Rodney Williams. And we should know who that is from preseason. So he's up. Also, who else did they re-signed Des Fitzpatrick, Noah Gendorf, another tight end. I'm not really familiar with him, but he was signed to the practice squad. And then they also signed an offensive lineman. I'm not really familiar with this guy, Denzel Mims. And then they released Greg Bell, Jalen Camp, and wide receiver Jacob Copeland. Okay, so definitely keep an eye on Rodney Williams and keep an eye on Noah Gendorf, and we'll see which one of these guys are actually active for the roster. I would believe it's going to be Rodney Williams because they did, obviously it says here he was signed to the active roster, so it's probably going to be him. But you never know. Maybe they make some type of switcheroo before the game. It's probably already past the time, so we'll assume based off of what it's saying here that it will be Rodney Williams. Again, guys, we know about him from preseason. I definitely wouldn't say that he's going to help with blocking. Could he do better than Freiermuth? Perhaps. But where the Steelers may be a little compromised is using their tight ends in the pass game. Hopefully we see opportunities for Darnell Washington. Let's use that big body and that big frame. And we'll see what happens. So let me just talk about the keys to victory, guys. Listen, this is no mystery here. The biggest key is going to have to be the Steelers stopping the run game. Steelers have not done a great job stopping the run, and they're facing off against the Baltimore Ravens, which I watched kind of skim through the all 22 of the Ravens versus the Browns last week. When I say skim through, I was kind of just looking at what they were doing offensively. I looked at about the first 2 quarters or so, not the full game. But the Baltimore Ravens still look like the Baltimore Ravens in terms of the offense. From what I'm seeing just this past week, I know they no longer have Greg Roman, but it definitely still looks like they're using Lamar, the way they've always used him. He's doing some read action stuff. He's doing some design quarterback runs. They're doing sprint outs with him to get him on the edge where he can take off and run or look downfield. It's what we have seen and what we have known about Lamar Jackson. They're still using him that way, but it's a concern because the Steelers have shown that they cannot successfully stop the run. We've only really done it against Vegas, okay? We held Josh Jacobs in check, but every other team that we played so far this year, they've been able to run the football. That is a huge concern because we all know that the Baltimore Ravens runs the football in multiple ways. And like I said, they do a lot of, window dressing in terms of their types of running. How they line up and who's in motion and, is it a zone read or not? Is it a design run? They do a lot. They have a lot of different formations and they run at you a lot of different ways. So I'm going to be honest, that is a concern. That is a concern. And Lamar Jackson is looking like a much better passer so far this season as well. So it is a bit of a concern, man, because our defense hasn't been a lights out defense. They've been kind of a bend but don't break, but then ultimately break in the wrong situations at times. And when they break, boy, do teams put points up on us. So I don't feel good about it defensively. But if they cannot stop the run, if they allow the Ravens to stay on schedule, it's going to be a very, very long day. Offensively, man, the biggest takeaway, you're just going to have to protect Kenny Pickett. Watching the all 22 of the game against Houston, man, there were many times where the offensive line was getting whipped. Mason Cole stuck out like a sore thumb. There were times when Herbig stuck out like a sore thumb. And there were definitely times when Broderick Jones stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, he's a rookie. Struggles a bit against power. And it's just, like I said, I couldn't have been more accurate when I gave you my assessment after watching the film that the problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is a collection of Matt Canada, offensive line, and Kenny Pickett. There are a lot of times when Kenny Pickett is running for his life. There's a lot of times where he's having to improvise. But there's also times when Kenny Pickett will not stay in a clean pocket, particularly on the play, the 4th and 1, when he got himself hurt. He had a clean pocket. He could have stepped up in the pocket and completed a pass, or maybe taken off for the run. But because he spun out to his right, and then he allowed the guy that Broderick Jones was blocking at that moment he met him in the same spot, couldn't really put that one on Jones. You know, Kenny has a tendency to bail at the wrong time. And also now he's a little compromised, right? With the bruised knee. Maybe he's not as mobile. So it's going to have to start right there. We're going to have to protect Kenny, number one. Steelers are going to have to try to find a way to run the football. I did see that Cleveland was able to run the ball a little bit against the Ravens, but, you know, Cleveland is a running team as well. They ran it against us. I would say their offensive line is better than ours right now as far as how they've, you know, produced. So you can't really use that, but you can look at it and say, okay, the Ravens can be ran on if you block it up properly. So we're going to have to try to establish the run game if we can and just be smart with the ball. I would say, I hate to say this, but I say play quick ball. You know, quick passes. In this particular game, you might have to wish for throw it short and run long, right? And maybe take a shot here and there, but you're just going to have to be, I would say, semi-conservative, only because I don't know if the O-line will protect him well. And I don't trust Matt Canada's concepts. You know, his route combinations on third and intermediate has just been so predictable. So again, I really don't have the answer, you know, at this point. I would like to say this is what they need to do to win offensively, but we all know that this offense, it just doesn't show anything that we can hang our hat on. Nothing. So surprise me. Surprise me and develop some efficiency. Surprise me and get the run game going. Surprise me and get Kenny Pickett in a rhythm. And we'll see what happens. So those are my keys to victory. You must stop the run against the Ravens. That's number one. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you just got to show some competence, consistency, and be efficient. That's it. The Ravens do not look unbeatable, but again, given the way that the Steelers have played, particularly against the Texans, particularly against the Niners, you know, and I know the Niners may not be fair because they're probably one of the best teams in the league, but fam, I don't have any confidence at all, and that's a shame, man. At week 5 already, I don't have confidence in the team and really knowing what they can do. And it's hard for me to say what the keys to victory are because I don't know what the identity of this Steelers team is. They don't really have an identity offensively. So there you have it. We'll see what happens, man. You know, will they be 2-3 or will they be 3-2? We shall see. So definitely, man, give me your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to that like always, man. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Definitely do that. And listen, man, I always appreciate you guys coming by and checking me out. Stay safe. God bless. Enjoy the game. And hey, we shall see. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Steelers Before Play Week 5, Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Catch you in the next one. Peace.